Hello friends. So we have been doing now post-colonial writings, and we saw what are the special qualities of post-colonial writings, and it's in the second lecture we saw the different models, how to approach this. This is a monolith, an amorphous grouping, you can say, isn't it? Yes. So how are we going to approach this? Like a huge cake, you have to cut it into pieces. So we have seen that there are four critical models. First one is the national or regional models, second is comparative models, and third is race-based models, and fourth is syncretism or hybridity study. These are the two characteristics that you will find in all the post-colonial literatures. So right from American to South African, isn't it? That we can put, or Nigeria, Kenya, then Quebec, then Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, all the SAARC countries you can say now. Yes. And therefore, we have concluded that by our strategy, you can say, you can summarize our strategy like this: four models, which I have just now told you. Okay. Now what happens is the second model. First one we have done in our second lecture. Now this is our third lecture, and in this lecture what we are going to do is the comparative models. We are going to have a look at the comparative models. Okay. The second is comparative models. Okay, is that clear? Comparative models of post-colonial writings or post-colonial literatures. Now here you should understand one thing, that the empire, what is the status of the colonies as far as the empire is concerned? The status of the colonies, the empire looks at the colonies as the other. That is, within the British worldview, the colonies are a kind of a contrastive element, something different from them. And they do not bother much about the differences between the colonies. You understand that? So the British government or the British thought, British looked at the colonies as one group, and their stand was they are other and we are something else. Or we can say they considered the colonies as a contrastive element, not as part of the British worldview. You understand? Something different, that's the thing. But at the same time, they did not bother much about differences between the colonies. So, for all practical purposes, they looked at the colonies like this. It's a place of something exotic, something strange, and it's a place of adventure, see? And above all, it's a very beautiful place for all these places for exploitation. That's the thing. So it is a place for exploitation. At the same time, what happened is they wanted to, you can say, stress or emphasize the metropolitan colonial axis. What is metropolitan colonial axis means? The relation between Britain and the colonies. Metropolis, that is London, and colonial axis means the colonies. For that, what did they do? That's very interesting. A cultural invasion, in a way. We can put it that way. They slowly entered into their education system, the colonial education system, and they issued readers. For example, in West Indies, they introduced a Royal Reader series. Royal Reader series. In Australia, they introduced Queensland Readers. Now, what is the content of these readers, do you know? That is British values. So then British way of life. British values, British way of life, British history, English literature, and British landscape. So, reading in colonies, the students in colonies, they could get a picture of this. And the teachers, you can expect there will be Westerners, no, Europeans. So they will give a vivid picture of these things. The life in England, how beautiful it is, the landscape in England, see, and the history of England and the literature of England. This is what is meant by saying asserting metropolitan colonial axis. Understand? So they entered into that educational system to exercise or to make effective use of their hegemony. It's a hegemony, there's a term, a favorite term for the Marxists especially, that is coined by, remember, Antonio Gramsci, the Italian Marxist, hegemony. That is somehow dominating a people, not by violence straight away, but by coercion or by persuasion or through infiltrating into their culture. What is the best way to infiltrate into one's culture? The best way to infiltrate into one's culture is education. There's no doubt about that. There were also some ideas they would give about the colonial adventure. Colonies also. Colonies and colonial adventure. But that is from the British point of view. That is to emphasize the point that this colonies, they had to face hostile human and also hostile environmental conditions. But still, these foreigners, these Europeans, they are suffering a lot for the betterment of the people in the colonies. That is the view that they give. For example, you have got explorations, see, by Stanley's explorations. Then also you have got, you remember Newbolt's Desperate Cricketers. I will write down on the board these titles. That is Stanley's Explorations. Stanley's Explorations. Stanley's Explorations. That is about colonial adventure. And then the other one I told you, Newbolt Desperate Cricketers. Newbolt's Desperate Cricketers. So these are two books dealing with the adventures in the colonies. The other one is, as I have already told you, Royal Raiders in the West Indies and also Queensland Raiders in Australia. These are the books you can see. And in addition to this, what happened is that they have also introduced Browning's Thoughts in Exile in colonial education. Then you have got Wordsworth's Daffodils and Sir Philip Sidney's Chivalry. So these ideas, we are putting these ideas into the minds of the young. But at the same time, you must understand that this imperial connection, although Europeans considered or Britain considered these colonies as the other, they wanted to keep the colonies under them and assert the imperial connection and cement it, you can say, the imperial connection, and for that they used cultural hegemony, that is through education. So, what you require to separate yourself from this situation is, you need a tremendous effort at the national level. See, a nationalistic aggression, you needed to separate yourself from these imperial or metropolitan colonial axis. Now, without separating, there is no post-colonial literacy. Somehow that has to happen. And that you saw that most of these colonies, they became independent. One of the characteristics of post-colonial writing is stark pockets of resistance, and then what will you do? it will flare up into a conflagration of struggle for independence, and finally it will end in independence. When the separation takes place, you have got post-colonial writings or post-colonial literatures. Now, in the comparative model, you find three types. Three types of comparative models you will find. And they are, first one is white-white. That is white-white. One is white-white model. That means second is black-black. Black-black model comparison. And the third is white-black. White-black, or you can say black-white. Maybe you can say. White-white is say US and Australia. Right? Canada and Australia. US and Canada. Canada and New Zealand. So that literatures will be, writings in those countries will be compared. When you compare, what will happen is there is a comparison between white and white. Understand? Now black, comparison between African nations, African countries. For example, Nigeria, then Kenya, South Africa, and so on. With the other diasporas or black diaspora, say the West Indies, South Pacific, or you can say also, you can also take into consideration the black writings in the USA. So that is black. Now, white-black, you can say Canadian with the Nigerian. Understand? Or black writings in the USA with the New Zealand. Or Australian with the Kenyan. Like this. So that is black. I hope you understand. So within this you have got the three models. That is comparative models. You have got white, black, and white. I think now these are the three principal types of comparison that you find. Understand? Now there are a few others very famous for this. The first one is J.P. Mathew. J.P. Mathew. So his book, that is Tradition in Exile, very famous. Tradition in Exile. So this is a comparative study of, Tradition in Exile is a comparative study of poetry in Canada and Australia. Poetry in Canada and Australia. So that means it falls under which type? White. Understand? But look at the title, Tradition in Exile. Stressing for the imperial connection. Tradition of the English literature. That is tradition. So poetry in Canada and poetry in Australia, the 19th century. In the 19th century. So this is one of the comparisons that we can say white comparison. Understand? But the imperial connection is very much there. And they highlighted this imperial connection for future studies. Understand? The imperial colonial relationship. You will also find this in essays written by MacDougall and also Whitlock. Different people have written essays like that. And the political and literary similarities between USA and Australia, this comparison by John's comparison. USA and Australia, political and literary. These are the aspects that they consider. KB, another author is KB. He considers or he compares American influence on Australian rather than British. See, there is a big change there. There's a slight spin-off, you can say. So here, we are all thinking about or speaking about influence of English literature on colonial literature. Here, one colony influences the other. Much better than or in a higher degree than the original British literature. That is here Australian influence of the USA on Australia. Understand? That's what KB study. So you can say that is a brief summary of white model. The white model, the leading figure is J.P. Mathew, and his book is Tradition in Exile. At the same time, remember tradition, so that is stressing the imperial connection. Also, there are other studies, one by John's literary and political comparison, you will find, and also by KB, that is emphasizing the importance of US literature on the importance of the influence of American literature on Australian literature rather than English literature. Understand? Then I have got another great writer, W.H. News. W.H. News. His name is W.H. News. So his book is, the title of the book is, that's very famous, Dreams of Speech and Violence. Dreams of Speech and Violence. Dreams of Speech and Violence. So this is the book. And now this studies or compares, you can say, the short story of Canada and New Zealand. Comparison of short story, that is the SHAN. Short story, Canada and New Zealand. So that is again a white model. No? These are white models. First one is Tradition in Exile. Second one is Dreams of Speech and Violence. That is again comparison white. Canadian, isn't it? That's with the Canadian and New Zealand. And very interesting point about Canadian and New Zealand is they have no filiastic connection. They don't consider as the sons or daughters of English literature. And their role is subversive studies. Contrastive and subversive, that's very important to know. Because as we have already shown, that if there is no separation from the mainland, if there is no separation from Britain, there cannot be any post-colonial literature. So in that case, they played a major role. That is, for them it is contrastive to this. And no connection with no imperial connection. They reject imperial connection. That's the thing. It's a subversive and counter-discursive. These are the words used. Subversive and counter-discursive. Counter-discursive in their status or in their approach. So Canada and New Zealand, they are not like other literatures. They are rebellious, you can say. They are not very much concerned about that. So not a continuing expression. They reject the idea of continuing expression of English literature in Canada or in New Zealand. That's what we said there. So they are against the original imperial discourse. That's why we said these two terms. We said they are subversive and they are counter-discursive. Understand? Means we have nothing to do with you people. That's what they say. Understand? So W.H. News, he compares these things. But it's dreams of speech and violence. Did you see that? Violence, when do you commit violence? Then you want to separate. So the title itself, like J.P. Mathew's title, Tradition in Exiles, that is emphasizing the imperial connection. So both this you can say is white. Understand? And when you come to black literature, you have got great names like Moore, Ngugi, and Griffiths. Gareth Griffiths, we saw now, one of these authors. So these are the people. What they did was, that's very simple comparatively, in the sense that they compared the African literature with the black writing in USA, African literature with the West Indies writings, African literature or West Indies writings with the African countries, and also in South African countries. So that is comparatively very simple in that case. Here what happened, there is subversion. See, one author stresses the imperial connection, another author is counter, discursive and subversive. So the second model within this, that is comparative model, black, it's not much to discuss here because we are, the next one is race-based model. We have again to consider this. And in the race-based model, we will be considering the black philosophy, that is called the negritude. So here we don't take that up as a major issue, because the major issue is going to come up when we consider a race-based model. Race-based model is especially about black writings. Understand? In different parts of, say, Africa, and also not only black writings by blacks, but writing about the blacks by the Europeans. That also comes under the race-based models. Understand? Now the third one is, we have seen the comparison between black diaspora and white diaspora. Black diaspora means settlement, that's all. It's about, see, for example, it refers to the settlements of Jews. Jews. No. So diaspora, generally now it's accepted a meaning diaspora. No. Diaspora means settlement. So black diaspora and white diaspora. So it's a famous book by Dawsonville. It's a very famous book, Dawsonville. And the title of the book is Caliban Without Prospero. Yeah. Caliban Without Prospero. That is the book. So here what happens, he considers the comparative study of white and black. And all black. For example, he studies literature of Cuba, and also you find the black diaspora. Literature of Cuba and black diaspora, black. That's one. And then you'll also find that this is actually, what happens is, you have got your West Indian and Australian. West Indian slave literature. The comparison is between this Dawsonville's Caliban Without Prospero, the comparison between white and black, Cuba and black. See that? Then another is slave literature. See that is the West Indian slave literature and the West Indian slave literature, again black, West Indian slave and the Australian convict. Australian convict literature. See, so that is all. This is black-white or white-black. So first one we can see is that you have got the white-white, then you have got two great authors, that is J.P. Mathew, isn't it? And what is the title of his book is Tradition in Exile. And the second great book we have seen, Dreams of Speech and Violence, W.H. News. That's about short story. And then you find the black writing, I told you. We'll take that up again later in great detail when we consider negritude. Negritude is the black philosophy, aesthetics, and way of looking at things, and all those things come into that. So that is negritude. Negritude, I think I had already written that there, that you will see. And then the third is black, white, black, and so on. The famous author is, that is Dawsonville, and his book is, the title of the book is Caliban Without Prospero. Studies about Quebec white, and this is black writing. And also you have got West Indian and Australian, that is also black and white. Now, in a way, such studies dealing with two or three areas you will find. What happens is, act as a bridge to cover all areas, while what we have to do, while you are studying post-colonial literatures. So you have got the second comparative models. Within the comparative models you have three. black, white, white, black, 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 white. See that? So it in a way we can say it covers a number of areas and also it covers number of aspects. Like in this group, the heroes we can say is Canada and New Zealand, because they are out. They have already stated very frankly that we don't want. We are not. We don't continue this tradition. What we want is we are. They say declare we are subversive and we are counter discretion. So in a way that was a kind of violence you can say. So the title of the book itself is like that. The title is Dreams of Speech and Violence. See that? So from that you can understand how they are anxious about getting themselves separated from the metropolitan colonial axis. So I think that you are following my lectures and you are enjoying also. Then in the next class, in our fourth lecture on this, we will be doing negritude or the black philosophy and black aesthetics. That you will see sooner or later. Till then, you will say bye. Take it easy, everything fine. Keep good health and also take things in a light mood. Okay, right? So bye bye.